Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. It is the morning dew for certified doers just like you. I am Jackie Glass, mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the Laced legislator for the House of Delegates, 93rd District. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to serve you as I get these brains together, get my life right this morning. Um, it is, what is today? It is November 14th, y'all. What is actually happening? A lot, actually. So, we have been in the midst of all the stuff and things. What I want to do today is talk about what we got going until the end of the year. I want to talk about yesterday. Yesterday, I was in Richmond. The day before that, I was at the Pentagon. So, like, debrief some of the things that I got from my experiences there. And then, if you have things that you have going on, please drop them in the comments. So, at the very minimum, I can share with everybody. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Justice Alliance, Virginia Justice Alliance. We're gonna go right. We're gonna go from there. So let's start with what was it? Yes, Tuesday. I've been running and gunning since Tuesday. Don't forget. I mean, I'm saying this. If you got stuff, drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. Drop it like this. Like drop it in the comments. I've been on the go, right? On Tuesday, I was at the Pentagon getting more information about programs to help with. It was more about military installation and resiliency and program. It's called a REPI. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but it was new to me. It's a program called REPI. REPI it's called Readiness and Environmental Protection Integration Program. So what happens is there's money, which I did not know. There is money to do a lot of different work in the Commonwealth for environmental projects. So Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, we got uh, 62.7 billion dollars in defense spending, and so some of that provides money to the contractors and folks that are inside of the Department of Forestry. And they use this tool, REPI. And I'm going to say this again, REPI. REPI is, I'm trying to make sure I say the Readiness Environmental Protection Integration Program. That's what I went to Pentagon to learn about, to make sure that anything that's affecting an installation is like, that they coordinated with the state. Because I guess sometimes people do projects or like there's a need to fix something right outside of the base. So that's super important, especially for some of y'all that live in these areas where flooding is a problem, or where there's an air station. You can't have as many trees as you like to, and that's a problem. So I definitely am really excited about learning more, doing more, learned about policies for military families. And, if you are one, we definitely need y'all to be tapping in with us. Y'all got to tap in so that we know, or if you know families, because that's a hot button issue, as well as it's something that we spend a lot of money on. Virginia is in this thing called the Sentinel Corridor. I don't know if y'all ever heard this. Like, if you have, drop it in the comments. This is the first I heard it on this visit. It's called the Virginia Security Corridor, Sentinel Landscape. And it's only a couple in the country, and we have two. So the Pomanac area and the Tidewater area, it's just land that supports military installations, and we'll get some investment. So landscaping, I'm trying to think of all the goals that they had here. As I like tap in, has a couple different goals to reduce climate hazard, which is interesting, right? Because I told them, the people at the Pentagon, I was like, I see this program. Seems like it's great that y'all are talking about the environment, but is it going to sustain? Does it sustain the executive branch, right? Whoever is in the executive branch, and they claim that it is. One thing that I learned about it, I think you all should know, that all of us should know, is about PFAS. Have y'all heard of PFAS? It's particles that is like everywhere in water and everything. And the military has gotten a significant amount of money to do cleanup, even on private property. So we have this thing called AFFF, which helps us when there's a fire. It puts out high volume, what do you call it? High degrees fires very, very quickly. And so PFAS has been deemed, unhealthy, unsafe. And like we have it in anything that's fire retardant, it's in it, and they've got to do a lot of mitigation. So as I learn, I'm going to share, there's cleanups and things that have to happen. So yeah, that's their thought. They're about to be spending money on that. So if you hear about PFAS, it's these particles. It's like, it's wild. So, but let's go into yesterday, which is probably the top of mind for many people. So Tuesday was at the Pentagon. Yesterday I was in Richmond, and I don't know if anybody knows why we were in Richmond yesterday, if you keep up with the Joneses, but I'm gonna let you know. So, we are trying to change the Constitution for Virginia, right? So when you have when there's an opportunity to change the Constitution of Virginia, it's kind of a lengthy process, right? So in order to change our Constitution, because just like the United States has a Constitution, the Commonwealth of Virginia has its own Constitution. We are trying to do 3 things. So I went to Richmond yesterday for 3 things, and I'll explain why, and then I'll let you hear some of my testimony. I'm going to play some of the but some of my statements I spoke on one of the bills. But we went to put in our Constitution that people have, that the right to vote is automatically restored post incarceration. 2, to ensure that you can marry whoever the heck you want to. And then if clergy, and I'm just saying this because this is in the bill too. Actually, let me say automatic restoration of vote. And we're putting in our Constitution that voting is a fundamental right, period. Like, we're going to address it and have it as a fundamental right. So if you get convicted of a felony, don't get incarcerated, you don't lose your right to vote. And I again, I'm going to show my remarks, but the question is why is voting tied to crime, right? Why are these 2 things even connected? I get if you do a gun crime, we take your ability to have a gun. If you do a computer crime, sometimes the folks be like, they can't be on the internet, but why is it if I commit a robbery or something, then I can't vote? So like really thinking about why these 2 things are tied together. So I'm going to show y'all my remarks there. So 1, put in the Virginia Constitution, the fundamental right to vote and automatic restoration of rights, because right now Virginia is the only state that requires the governor to help restore rights. 2, again, the right to marry, right? Whoever the hell you want to marry, you can go ahead and marry them, but also says that clergy do not have to marry someone if they don't want to, right? If it's not within their beliefs, they don't have to. So this is to allow people to get married if they want to, and allow clergy to say, hey, that's not my thing, I'm not going to marry you. 3, we talked about reproductive rights, right? Post-care, pre-care, prenatal, postnatal, the full continuum of care, enshrining that in our Constitution. The right to, if you need reproductive care, i.e. abortion, i.e. Contraceptives, like all of that, in that there is a right to do it. It is regulated. It decriminalizes the bill, the constitutional language that we voted on yesterday. It decriminalizes it with some guardrails on the 3rd trimester, saying that like in the 3rd trimester, because Roe also recognized the 3rd trimester piece, that you that there's some guardrails there, that you have to have a physician. So again, top of the line, HJ1, which is the reproductive rights, going to preserve the current law for people's reproductive freedoms. That's a constitutional amendment. Remember, this is a change to the Constitution. I'm saying this, and everything that's in there, it's protecting everything from abortion, contraception, IVF, and more. There's pieces in there about privacy and autonomy. I'm going back through this so y'all have it in your back pocket. So emphasizes privacy and autonomy with healthcare. Remember, we're putting this in the Constitution. We're putting this in the Virginia Constitution. So hopefully you all will be voting on it in 2026. 2026. Hopefully, yes, when y'all be voting on it. And then it really supports public opinion, right? That there's a desire, at least in Virginia, for reproductive rights. And I think that's why we ended up getting the majority in 2023. I think that's why we will probably stay in the majority, but I know we also need to talk about income. We also need to talk about cost of living, all those all those things. So that's HJ1. HJ9, again, protects the fundamental right to marry, ensure everybody's treated fairly, equal through the process. It removes the ban on same-sex marriage. So HJ9, HJ1, right? Reproductive freedoms. HJ9 is the fundamental right to marry, remove the ban for same-sex marriage and affirming, like, whatever you want to do, that's on you. And we have to, equality is equality, right? Like it's not negotiable. And so that amendment will do that guidance, will guarantee that Virginia is a place that accepts people for who they are, where they are. Hey, Rich Risings to you. I love that. Never heard Rich Risings before, but I receive it. And then HJ2, I told y'all, remember, we are the only, put this in your vocabulary right now, the Commonwealth of Virginia is the only state to permanently disenfranchise anybody with a felony conviction, unless they petition the governor to restore their rights. We're one of 10 that take in that way, but we're the only one that says the governor has to do it. So if we're going to be fair and just, we need a fair and just. The process is not very clear. And so that's what we're trying to do, is that if you're going to provide redemption, if you're going to provide integration, then, and we believe in justice, then the future of democracy has to say that it has to work for all the people, including people who have committed a crime and are rebuilding their lives. Got it? Y'all got that? So HJ1, HJ2, HJ9. Boom, boom, right? Those things are what we went through yesterday. What I'm going to do is show you all the video from yesterday of my remarks. So I was tasked with making remarks regarding the automatic restoration of right. Yeah. HJ1, Queen Rising, HJ1, HJ2, HJ9. HJ1 is the right to the reproductive freedoms, all the things, abortion, contraceptive, IVF, all of the reproductive freedoms that we hope to have. HJ2 is the, I think I mixed them up. Don't get me into lying. HJ2 is the fundamental right to vote, right? Automatic restoration of rights. And HJ9 is the fundamental right to marry, and that everybody's treated equal in that process of choosing who they marry. Yeah. Oh my God. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to go through this. We need to talk. We need to talk. I'm just going to say this out loud for the good of the order. I just wrote a letter to Norfolk Public, to the school board and the superintendent yesterday, like a follow-up from another letter, Queen Rising. Like, I need you to, she just wrote on Instagram, for those of you, I can't show what she wrote. She's like, there was another incident in Booker T, Washington yesterday. Her son was jumped by 20 boys and has a mild concussion. And that cannot be okay. This is happening across the district. I keep getting messages about it. Queen Rising, I definitely I want to tap in with you and get you to share your stuff with your information with me, so that we can at least share that up to the board, right? Like, if you, because I think every time it comes from me, they think I'm trying to start a fight, and I ain't trying to fight a fight. I'm just trying to help with safety and concerns that I keep hearing from people like you, Queen Rising. So thank you for sharing. I will pop my information. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and put the banner across so that they're very aware now. Yeah, she said the board is very aware now. I'm I'm beyond frustrated. I can't do everybody's job, and nor am I trying to. I assure you I'm not. I assure you that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want communication. I want people to feel heard and feel safe. Okay, so lastly, so Queen Rising, it sounds like you've notified the school board of what's going on. Just let me know in the chat that you've already notified the school board of what's going on, and because the best, and I'm saying this out loud, the best that I can do is take the information and pass it along, and then ask for some, just keep holding it, because my role is very limited, right? I'll be candid. Yesterday, I did talk with a school board member about the info, because again, I did email them yesterday about another incident happening at another school and just ins and outs, and just said, hey, I don't know, since we are not, you're making a great day. Set your intentions. Because there's a choice to not collaborate, then you got to tell me how to proceed, because the board that we have has all the authority, right? They do the hire and the firing of superintendent. They are the accountability people for the system. So as a delegate, I can be a good partner, right? Like I can be a good partner in saying, all right, here's what the state has, here's what we're trying to do. How do I get funding for safety? But when we have people that, again, I'm being transparent because I'm also being kind. I'm also being kind. I'm not always nice, but I'm being kind. Is that 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had emailed 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was more, it was before the week before last. I emailed them about a family, non-English speaking family that was going through some issues, and I hadn't heard anything. So know that you're not the only one that's reached out to me. I'm gonna do my best. I just need you to, if you need backup, in the sense of just to tap in and say, hey, this constituent said they had a issue. I please at least communicate. Like that's what I'm literally saying right now, is please have someone communicate with this family like that. And I think that is absolutely wild. I think exactly where I know that there are civil rights being, anyway, my apologies, didn't mean to go on the tangent. Let's get back into it. Queen Rising. The information for our office is rolling across the top. I'm glad that Mr. Rodney was very helpful. I'm also glad that you contacted an attorney, because sometimes it feels like, as a privileged person, that we have to tap into our piggy banks for privileges, our privileges, to be able to get some response. At least I've known several families that have decided to get lawyers in order to mitigate what's happening with Norfolk Public Schools. And I don't value that. I don't think we should be there. And, I'm almost over keep hearing people, their fear, ostracism, and things like that. So we need help. Y'all, we need to help push the board to do what they need to do to help the system do what they need to do. And I'm saying this to y'all because I've said it to them. It's not right. What I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is not right. And I'm saying I got video, I got emails, I got all the things. So we're partners in this, right? I should be a good partner to NPS, and I'm trying, but there's a level of accountability, right? We believe in the ABCs of governance: accountability, boldness, and coalition building. So here we go. All right, back into this. Thank you so much, Queen Rising, for sharing. Again, I was telling y'all about who's down for running for school board, please. Yeah, who is down for running for school board in 2026? Only one. Misha, you need to be down for running. That's what I'm talking about. Who down for running for school board, city council? 2026. Let's go. Get ready. Let's go. Don't play. Holla at your girl. You better call her. Y'all, this is happening on Instagram. She said, I'm ready. I'm willing. That's right. We have to prepare ourselves. If you're interested, hit us up. I can share and put you in contact with people. I welcome people running, even though I'm running for, I'm on the ballot next year. But I think if somebody wanted to run for the seat, they should. You all deserve to have choices, right? You deserve to have choices. So that's it. Let's go. Okay. So yesterday, right? Change is going to happen. So yesterday I talked about HJ1, HJ2, HJ9, right? Y'all know that we rolled through the HJs. HJ stands for House Joint Resolution. So what's going to happen with this House Joint Resolution is that the Senate also is going to have to put in a resolution. The reason why we acted on this legislation right now is because we have these rules that talk about how we continue legislation. If you're a Politico and we're deep in stuff, then you'll know at the beginning of this year, when I was in session in 2025, in 2024, we had all of these bills on the docket, but we continued them to 2025. And so when we decide that we're going to continue, we take a vote and we'll say we're going to continue this legislation to 2025, then that means we have a certain date based off our rules that we have to act on it. Our date was November 18th. So we have until November 18th to act on any continued legislation. And that means that the committee has to meet and do what they want to do what they're going to do. We could choose not to act on it and just bring it forth in the 2025 session, but we acted on it. And that's why I had to go to Richmond yesterday, right? To go through those House joint resolutions. The thing about, I see my camera keeps mucking up. I feel like I'm about to move. So what I do know is that, 2024, 2025. I'm trying to think of what else I was going to say. Yeah, so we have to act on it. So what's going to happen now is with constitutional language, when we vote on it, it has to stay the same because it's like a 3-year process, right? In order to change the Constitution, we have to vote on it, vote on the language, the exact language, right? The House and the we have to get it through. Then we have to have an election in the time that we voted on it. Then we have to have another vote on it. I feel like my I already know, I see it, my camera and stuff. And it's I see that I am actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shift rudders a little bit. I'm gonna shift into here because I feel like there it is. I'm going to shift into here because of the internet, because I know how the internet get in that back room when stuff is weird. Okay. Hopefully this is better. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see me a little bit better than you did before. Okay. So there has to be an election in between, and then it comes to you all. When we're trying to change the Constitution, it's because what you're talking about. Mr. Mike said it's messing up because of what I'm talking about. Okay, got it. So when we pass, what happens is when we vote on it with that language, the exact language that we want in the Constitution, we have an election in between, right? Because the House is on every other year election. Then we vote on it again, same language, same exact language. And then what happens is it gets on your ballot, right? Then you get to vote on it. So if everything goes right, we'll vote on the language this year. It'll pass. We'll have the election in 2025, right? In 2026, hopefully, if we still have a Democratic House, because this is one of those things that typically there's Democratic values there, then we'll vote on it again, exact same language. If anything changes, the process starts over again, y'all. If anything changes. So if we vote on it then that means that it can go on your ballot and you will vote. Okay. That makes sense, y'all? That makes sense. Okay, good. Hopefully that makes sense. So know that to the Constitution are a big deal. We will need y'all to be paying attention. If you care about right to contraceptive, right to abortion care, right to IVF, you care about all that stuff, you got to be paying attention. You care about restoration of rights, you got to be paying attention this next session and making sure that we get this majority back so that we can do this too. And then if you care about, people being able to marry who they want to marry, then we got to do that too. Okay. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to share my remarks as I told y'all yesterday. And if you got questions, drop them in the comments. This is just FYI so that you understand the process, understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it. Yesterday, I had to make remarks about one of the bills, and I'm going to show you all my remarks. So I'm going to put myself down here, and I'm going to hit play. I think the question that we need to ask. Hold on, I'm letting it. Gratitude, Madam Chair. I have a statement. I think the question that we need to ask ourselves, and it's not the folks sitting up at this dailies, because I think there's another question that we should be asking ourselves is,
Why is the right to vote tied to crime that has nothing to do with voting? It's a fair question. The question that this committee is trying to answer is a felony conviction or incarceration a consequence for a crime? One thing I know, Madam Chair, is that when I get the futzing with my husband, because I nag, and I put him on conversation punishment, as he likes to call it, and I come out of conversation punishment to speak, he assumes that the crime that he has committed against me has that up, whether it's daily, weekly, when I am triggered. I tell him that he has not paid the consequences, said conversation punishment for that crime. Or transgression, let me say that, transgression. How many more times do you think I have to bring that up to him, Madam Chair, before he says enough? Before he's no longer a contributing member to our marriage? There has to be a way for him to move on. I have to forgive. I will not forget. You see, Virginia is very unique right now, and not in a good way. When it comes to voting rights of formerly incarcerated neighbors, we are one of the 10 states, and I'm going to say that 10 states, this has been said, where rights are lost indefinitely or require a governor's pardon for certain offenses. However, Virginia likes to be unique, she does. And all of our incarcerated neighbors with felonies are permanently banned from voting unless they receive an executive pardon. We are the only state with this blanket restriction, the only one. If we, and I've said in these rooms, if we in this Commonwealth are committed to rights and freedoms, then our formerly incarcerated neighbors deserve a process. That is what we're saying here, a process that is both consistent and transparent. Let me say that again. They deserve a process. We are determining a process that is both consistent and transparent, not at the whims of those who are in the governor's mansion, no matter what their politics are. So we have a chance here to be walking away from second chances and toward fair chances. Our formerly incarcerated neighbors should have a fair opportunity to rejoin and contribute to our democracy. Not only that, our formerly incarcerated neighbors, and I'm saying that because these are your neighbors, you don't know how they would vote, deserve that fair chance to reclaim their place to fully participate, to pursue what we like to call as the American dream, including the right to vote and be president, or be a president that votes for themselves. So let us here, hopefully, collectively, take them off conversation punishment and allow them to have a voice in our community and effort to simply be our neighbors. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Delegate Milday.
Okay, so that was my remarks, right? We each sometimes get the opportunity to sort of share our sentiments or speak to the case. I am hopeful that this makes it through. I think it just makes sense. I don't know where we're going to go with this, but I'm with you. And Jennifer Dalton, you're absolutely right. Losing rights is part of badges and incidents of the 13th Amendment. That was talked about a lot yesterday. There was a lot of folks that were like, listen, this is an old relic, man. Like it is rooted in racism. It is rooted in all these things, like that we have a responsibility to move forward, and we do. And so if you live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, you now have an opportunity, if we do our part right? If we can make it through this session, right? So 2025, the Senate's going to have to do their voting. It's still going to have to go through the legislative process, but we also have to step back in and be able to win the House back, hopefully win the governorship. Like, all of this stuff is going to happen next year. I keep saying this like it's a big deal. Next year, the governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the entire House of Delegates, which is 100 members, are on the ballot. And then they will again go through that legislative process in 2026. So my hope is that we are in a place where we do allow folks to get their rights restored, and that we don't hold on to these relics of the 13th, you know what I mean? Of the 13th. Yeah. Hold on to these old things. Hi, I can't say your name because it's inappropriate. I'm just kidding. No, it's appropriate. F off is the name. She said, hi, Jackie. Hey, glad to meet you. Glad to see you. Glad you're here. Queen Rising says they absolutely should be vote after serving. They're able to serve their time. Listen, there are 3 states that don't take rights at all. Right. It is possible to say that, you know what, your right to vote is not, unless you commit a voting crime, right? Like, that your right to vote is not tied to the committing a crime. Like, that is also fair to say. I'm really hopeful that we get to that point where someone committing a crime is not tied to their absolute fundamental right to vote. That we, you know, like I said, if you commit a gun crime, yeah, having the ability to get a gun limited or taken, that makes sense to me. It just doesn't make sense that, you know, if you get convicted of felony and don't even serve time, like nothing, you don't have your right to, it just doesn't make sense. But more importantly, the issue that we are going to address, that we are trying to address, is that we do not have a fair and transparent process. We do not in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I was helping people this summer get their rights restored. We had people for months who never heard anything, right? Who never heard anything back. And I assure you, if I did not have a good relationship with some of the people on the executive branch, we probably wouldn't have heard stuff back. Like making the calls to secretariats and stuff, like for real. There are people that, and I'm so proud of my neighbors. Like, I'm so proud of my neighbors who even came and had the courage to ask for help with the process. That takes something too, to even be willing to say, like, yo, this got to happen. But there was a very unclear process with this current administration. And I'm saying it because it was just, you couldn't, some people were getting their rights denied. We didn't know why they were getting their rights denied. There was no explanation. It was just so much. And I think that if anyone's going to go through that process, they deserve a clear and transparent process. And that's what we're trying to do. Very off top. That is what we're trying to do. So, yeah, so that's, that's what we're trying to do. Oh, and I see, hey, David James Glass, Dems may have the chance to do some messaging and win the governor's office next year. Yeah, there is a possibility. Yep, may have to change some messaging to win the governor. I agree on that. And David, I'm going to say this: if you could also scream that from the rooftops to some of to some of the folks, that there are some things that need to be messaged much better, because I'm feeling the squeeze, right, on the things that matters. Well, while I value those things that were put out front, the most important thing to me right now is that, you know, my mortgage has gone up almost $700 in the past 4 years, right? Like, like, there's a lot that we are feeling the squeeze, and I don't have small children anymore. So I couldn't imagine what it is like right now if I had to deal with childcare, if I had to, it's a thing. It's a thing. I hear you. Queen Rising says no one city will say this and another will say as a different criteria. I know a few felons trying to restore their rights. Yeah, it's tough. We don't want to, we want to be clear and consistent. Mary says, I can show comments on there. She says, is anything fair and transparent in Virginia? It's time to turn the page. Yes, there's some fair and transparent things that happen in Virginia. I would say there are some fair and transparent things that are happening in Virginia, but I know maybe the things that matter to you are not as fair or transparent as you like them to be. But also I take some responsibility as a representative here. If there's something that needs to be provided clarity, please don't hesitate to ask. If I don't know the answer, I'm gonna try and find out for you. Okay. David said over here, I'm ready. I'm already on it. We can champion lower taxes and less regulation. You know, efficiency. I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. I receive it. What can we talk about? We got to get in the business of having the right kinds of conversations. Happy Wednesday, Khadijah. So that's what I got today. I wanted to make sure that you guys, knew what I was up to. Pentagon visit was amazing. I've never been to the Pentagon before. This was a first for me. It was really, really an honor to. I will be serving as our Military and Veterans Caucus Vice Chair of legislative processes. So my goal here is to, I will be getting most of the bills organized and together and making sure they're aligned with our strategic plan. So that's a big deal. And I'm super excited to have that visit, have that tool, have that opportunity to be in that space. If you are, I know we just had Veterans Day. The Commonwealth just launched a platform. I'll do a video by itself on it, but a platform to sort of help streamline the opportunity for folks to get hold on. And while I'm talking about it, I should probably have the link for you, but to streamline your abilities, your ability, excuse me, to get services as a veteran. Virginia. Yeah, I'm trying to find it just to make sure this new program. I'm like also trying to think of what is the name of it. It's called the Virginia Veterans Network. Y'all put that in your back pocket. I know veterans that are just not, they are not. Do you hear me? Why they got their face on here like this? I hate it. Let this program live. Hold on. Sorry. I just went to the website and it's like a video with, no, sorry. Y'all just got my first reaction. Okay. Sorry, not sorry. Maybe that's what I need to be saying. But that is the link there. I know on Instagram that's not going to do anything for you, but vesadvs.org. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, Friday Eve doers. Yes. Okay. And I'm so excited. Okay. So let me tell you this. All right. In preparation for session, I know while I did not start this, I certainly have elevated it. Fridays will be back in session. Now it's going to be a short session. But I'm kind of excited because y'all listen, I did not gas myself up about Fridays. Y'all gassed me up about Fridays. And I'm excited to be doing some Fridays with y'all. Behind the doer with y'all. It's all coming back to me now. I'm also excited to share my legislative agenda. I had a goal of sharing that October 31st, but I did not. So my goal is to really make sure that I'm able to outline to y'all at the top of the year. Just put it in your heads, put it in your calendars. Probably that first Saturday in January, we're going to have a town hall. So if there is a town hall or however we do it, y'all should tell me. Y'all lips is crusty. If we have if and when we have the town hall, I definitely want to make sure that you all know, doers know, right? Because that's what doers do. We get more done. I happy Veteran Day to all my veterans. 100 here, yeah. All right. Well, that is all that I have. So grateful that you all took the time on this Thursday morning to join me. I hope that you are truly able to make it a great day. I look forward to the opportunities to connect with Queen Rising. I'm going to put that back out there too. If there's any way that we can be supportive, please let us know. What else? Oh, listen, if you like the things that we do, if you appreciate what we do, please consider making a contribution. It's people and it's funding that wins campaigns. And so I will be back on the trail next year. We're asking people to put us in your budget. And I know that's wild because I know how tight my budget is. And it's even tighter when you're trying to make sure you keep staff. So I say, hey, look, if you can do $25 a month in 2025, great. If you want to make a larger contribution, like I'm always amazed and admire the people that are like, let me send you $500. I'm like, whoa. Okay, big pimpin'. But we're going to use it and we're going to get to work, right? So, yes, consider putting us in your budget. You can go to delegatejackieglass.com to make a contribution. We appreciate it. Or you can go, if you're on Instagram, go to my link tree, and the link tree will have the links for that. If you're a person who's like, I don't like none of that, you can use the P.O. Box. The P.O. Box is up there. The P.O. Box 99071, Norfolk, Virginia. 23509. All right. Yep. Hey, my pleasure. My pleasure. David said, thank you for including us in the process. It is my pleasure. And Queen Rising, I'm going to say what you said to me, to everybody else. Have a great day on purpose. Be intentional. All right. Be well, y'all. Mama, Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, laced up legislator of the House of Delegates, 93rd District, honored and happy to serve. Let's get it, certified doers, because doers get more done. Home Depot, don't sue me. See ya.